Hello everyone and welcome to a new video where we are dyno testing a overhauled Rotax 914. The engine has just been through a couple of runs and it's making about the advertised power, so 113 to 115 horsepower. And what I'm going to show you now is a couple of various power settings with different manifold pressure. So we got map over here, we've got an RPM obviously, horsepower, kilowatts for those who refer to that, engine torque in Newton meters, and propeller output shaft torque. So what you're gonna see is that once we get up towards takeoff power and max continuous, our intake air temp will quickly climb towards 85 to 100 degrees Celsius, even plus, and that's with adequate cooling. As you can see, we have 7 degrees Celsius, so rather cold inlet air into the dyno chamber now, and we also have cold blast air towards the air filter on the compressor inlet side. So engine is running under rather optimal conditions. So we'll start off by setting 5,000 RPMs. We'll go 25 and 30 inches and 35. We'll go 5,500 RPMs with full throttle, so max continuous, and then we'll do 5,800 RPM, max RPM with full throttle. And you can obviously see as soon as the intake air temp reaches its critical temperature, it's going to open the wastegate and taper off the boost by quite a bit, and you'll see the horsepower drop as well. So yeah, perfect example of why you want to have an intercooler installed on any turbocharged engine. So here we go. So we have 25 inches of manifold pressure set, making 40 horsepower. We'll set 30 inches. That gives us about 75 horsepower. So that would be a typical cruise setting for a 914. We'll go to 35. See our intake air temp starting to climb there. So that's full power at 5,000 RPM, just shy of 100 horse. We'll go to 5,500 RPM. So that would be max continuous, about 103, 105 horsepower. Intake air temp is climbing rapidly now. We'll go 5,800. So we're getting 106, 105 horsepower. The intake air temp is slowly climbing. So we are no longer getting our 40 inches of manifold pressure. We'll let it rise a bit more on the intake air temp sitting there. Again, you can see there's quite a wide spread on the EGTs. Now you can see the boost really start to taper off. Now we're below 100 horse. Manifold pressure keeps dropping. Back down to 5,500. Max continuous. We're only getting 35, 36 inches. And obviously now running without an intercooler, we could have been at 115, 120 horse, but we're falling down towards 94, 92 horsepower or thereabouts. So quite big loss, talking 15 to 20 horsepower of loss due to the lack of intercooling and high intake temps. another sad part is we're running 20 inches of manifold pressure, 5,000, so that would be your super economical cruise setting, and the AFR is running super rich with a high EGT spread. At this setting we would typically like to see 13.8 to 14.2 AFR, but then again it's just pouring out fuel to try and keep the engine cool. So there's another benefit obviously of running fuel injection with the variable ignition timing, which can allow us to run a more optimized air-fuel ratio and also narrow down the EGT spread, as number 3 now is obviously suffering, and yeah, the power output per cylinder is varying quite a bit, which again translates into a less smooth of a running engine. So we'll bring it back down to idle. Show you the test cell setup. So bone stock Rotax 914 turbo, nothing fancy, with a good breathing exhaust there. Then we have our dyno graph from the previous run, which shows a peak horsepower 113 horsepower at 5800 RPMs and a peak manifold pressure of 41. Obviously, as it ramps up, the wastegate starts control, and we're back down to 40 inches at 5800. Crankcase pressure is extremely good, very little blow by. We see less than 0.2 bars of crankcase pressure. Yeah, decent fuel flow numbers. It's right where it should be. And then up again, running a bit rich, especially on the lower RPMs. It's running 11s, AFRs. And we got our TLR software obviously running in the background. Just double checking, cross checking all temperatures, pressures, and obviously setting the TPS calibration. So thanks for watching. Hope you guys found it somewhat interesting, and we'll see you on the next one.